Well, hello there and welcome to my humble woodworking haven. I'm Astif Gifrev, and I'm tickled you've decided to join me on this journey into the world of sawdust, sweat, and the sweet satisfaction of crafting something beautiful with your own two hands. Now, woodworking, much like life, is a dance between triumph and tribulation. You'll experience the euphoria of a perfectly executed dovetail joint, but you'll also encounter the frustration of a misplaced saw cut. But fear not, my friends, for within those inevitable mistakes lie the seeds of true craftsmanship. In this video, we're going to equip you with the knowledge and know-how to sidestep some of the most common pitfalls that plague us woodworkers, both novice and seasoned. So grab your safety glasses, sharpen those chisels, and let's get down to business. Wood, you see, is a lot like a stubborn mule. It has its own mind and its own way of doing things. Try to force it one way, and it'll buck you right off. It's not just about strength, it's about understanding and respect. That's why understanding wood grain is paramount to your woodworking success. It's like learning the language of the material you're working with. Think of wood grain as the wood's internal highway system. Each line and curve tells a story of the tree's life. Just like you wouldn't drive your truck through a cornfield, you don't want to force your tools against the grain. It's about working with nature, not against it. Ignoring the grain can lead to tear out, where your tools rip chunks out of your beautiful lumber instead of slicing through it cleanly. This can ruin hours of hard work. It can also weaken your project, making it prone to breakage. A weak joint or a split board can be the difference between a masterpiece and a disaster. To identify the grain, look for the long, parallel lines running the length of the board. These lines are your guide. Sometimes they're straight and true, other times they're swirly and unpredictable. Each type of grain offers its own unique challenges and beauty. That's part of what makes wood so darn interesting. No two pieces are ever exactly the same, making each project a new adventure. When planing, sanding, or cutting, always go with the grain, like you're floating a canoe downstream. It's smoother, easier, and the results are far superior. Trust me, your projects will turn out smoother and stronger for it. The effort you put into understanding the grain will pay off in the quality of your work. And if you're ever unsure, just remember what my old grandpappy used to say: when in doubt, pet the wood, you'll figure it out. Feel the texture, follow the lines, and let the wood guide you. Now I know you're eager to get your hands dirty, but hold your horses for a minute. Before diving into your project, it's crucial to understand the importance of using the right tool. Before you go swinging a hammer like a blacksmith at a rodeo, let's talk about choosing the right tool for the job. The right tool can make all the difference in the world, turning a daunting task into a manageable one. Using the wrong tool is like trying to eat soup with a fork, messy, inefficient, and downright frustrating. It can lead to mistakes that are not only time-consuming but also costly. It's also a surefire way to injure yourself or ruin a perfectly good piece of lumber. Safety should always be your top priority, and the right tool helps ensure that. A good craftsman knows his tools like a chef knows his knives. Each tool has a specific role, and understanding these roles is key to mastering your craft. He respects their power and uses them with precision. Precision is what separates a good project from a great one. We'll cover the essentials in this video: the trusty hand plane for smoothing and shaping, a tool that can transform rough lumber into a work of art; the versatile chisel for carving and joinery, indispensable for detailed work and creating strong joints; the mighty saw for cutting, whether you're making rough cuts or fine, precise ones; and of course the humble hammer, because sometimes you just need to persuade things a little. It's a tool of force and finesse. Each tool has its purpose, its strengths, and its quirks. Knowing these can save you time and effort. Take the time to get to know them, and they'll reward you with years of faithful service. Mastery of your tools is the first step to becoming a true craftsman. In this age of instant gratification, it's easy to get caught up in the rush. But woodworking, my friends, is a marathon, not a sprint. Rushing through a project is like trying to build a house on a foundation of quicksand. It's only a matter of time before it all comes crashing down. Take your time, measure twice, cut once, and always double-check your work. A few extra minutes of careful planning can save you hours of frustration and rework later on. Remember, woodworking is about the journey as much as the destination. So, relax, enjoy the process, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. That's how we learn. Now, before we go any further, we need to have a little chat about safety. It's the foundation of any good woodworking project. Because let's be honest, A trip to the emergency room is about as much fun as a splinter under your fingernail. And trust me, both are equally avoidable with the right precautions. Woodworking, like any craft involving sharp objects and power tools, comes with inherent risks. From saw blades to chisels, every tool has the potential to cause harm if not used properly. But fear not, my friends, for with a healthy dose of common sense and a few simple precautions, we can keep all our fingers and toes right where they belong. Safety isn't just a guideline, it's a necessity. First and foremost, always, and I mean always, wear your safety glasses. Wood chips, sawdust, and errant tools are no match for a good pair of polycarbonate lenses. They protect your eyes from unexpected hazards. Next up, ear protection. Power tools can be loud, and prolonged exposure can damage your hearing. The constant noise isn't just annoying, it can lead to long-term hearing loss. So, do yourself a favor and pop in some earplugs or earmuffs. It's a small step that makes a big difference. Your ears will thank you for it. And finally, let's talk about dust collection. Wood dust is not your friend, it's more than just a nuisance, it's a health hazard. Wood dust is not your friend. It's bad for your lungs, bad for your tools, and bad for your overall health. Breathing in fine particles can lead to serious respiratory issues over time. It's bad for your lungs, bad for your tools, and bad for your overall health. So make sure your workspace is well ventilated and invest in a good dust collection system. Invest in a good dust collector, or at the very least, wear a respirator. Your lungs will thank you for it, and you'll be able to enjoy your craft for years to come. A cluttered workspace is a recipe for disaster. It's like trying to find a needle in a haystack, except the needle is a sharp chisel, and the haystack is your entire workshop. A well-organized workspace, on the other hand, is a thing of beauty. Tools are within easy reach, materials are neatly stored, and there's a sense of calm and order that permeates the very air. Start by designating specific areas for different tasks. Have a dedicated workbench for cutting, another for assembly, and a separate area for finishing. Invest in some good storage solutions. Toolboxes, cabinets, shelves, and pegboards are your friends. The key is to have a place for everything and to put everything back in its place when you're finished with it. And don't forget about lighting. A well-lit workspace is essential for both safety and accuracy. Now let's talk about something we can't see but is just as important as any tool in your shop: air quality. Woodworking generates a lot of dust, and some woods, especially exotic species, can release harmful fumes when cut. Ignoring these hazards is like inviting a bear into your workshop. It's just asking for trouble. Invest in a good dust collector to capture sawdust at the source. A well-ventilated workspace is also crucial. Open windows and doors whenever possible, and consider using fans to circulate the air. When working with woods known to produce harmful fumes, wear a respirator with the appropriate cartridges. Your lungs will thank you for it. Cutting wood seems simple enough, right? Just grab a saw and go to town. But like anything worth doing, there's a right way and a wrong way to make the cut. First, let's talk about saws. You've got your hand saws for cutting by hand, and your power saws for when you need a little extra oomph. Each type of saw has its purpose and its own set of techniques. For straight cuts, you can't go wrong with a good handsaw or a circular saw. For curves and intricate cuts, a jigsaw or bandsaw is your best bet. And for making precise crosscuts and miters, a miter saw is a must-have. No matter what saw you're using, the key is to take your time, let the saw do the work, and always keep your fingers clear of the blade. So, you've cut your wood to size, sanded it smooth, and now it's time to put it all together. But before you go grabbing for the glue bottle, let's talk about joinery. Joinery is the art of connecting two or more pieces of wood to create a strong and lasting bond. There are countless joinery methods, each with its strengths and weaknesses. For simple projects, glue and screws will do the trick. But for furniture and other pieces that need to withstand years of use and abuse, you'll want to consider more robust joinery methods like dovetails, mortise, and tenons, or box joints. No matter what method you choose, the key to strong joinery is accurate cutting and proper glue-up. You've put in the hard work, sweated over joinery, and now your project is starting to take shape. But before you call it a day, there's one final step: finishing. Finishing is like putting the icing on the cake. It protects your project from the elements, enhances the natural beauty of the wood, and gives it that professional touch. There are countless finishing options available, from simple oils and waxes to more durable varnishes and lacquers. The best finish for your project will depend on the type of wood, the intended use, and your personal preferences. No matter what finish you choose, the key is to apply it evenly and allow it to dry completely before handling or using your project. Well, folks, we've covered a lot of ground today. We've talked about the importance of respecting the wood grain, choosing the right tools, taking our time, and working safely. We've explored the intricacies of cutting, joining, and finishing, but most importantly, we've learned that mistakes are an inevitable part of the process. Don't be afraid to make them, embrace them, learn from them, because it's through those mistakes that we truly grow as craftsmen. Now go forth and create something beautiful. And remember, the only limit is your imagination, and maybe your budget, and possibly your skill level. But hey, you'll get there. Just keep practicing and never stop learning. And be sure to subscribe to my channel for more woodworking tips, tricks, and tales from the shop. Until next time, happy woodworking.